Hey y'all, Miner J here. I've been down in that there mine all day long doing things that miners do in mines. Now, if you don't know what miners do in mines, you should come along with Minerva and me today to the Queen Mine Tour in Bisbee, Arizona. This is a divine life.
Hi there, I got up early today to get us an omelet from the Bisbee Breakfast Club. Thought I'd bring you along. Hey everybody, we're heading to the Queen Mine Tour in Bisbee, Arizona.
Running a little late, getting a little nervous, but hopefully we'll make it in time. I can't see out my window. Very, very rainy day today here in Bisbee, Arizona. So we're dealing with that.
We're going to see if they're going to do the mine tour though.
It's indoors. It seems like they should. It seems like they would have said if there's rain, tours weren't full. We do have a reservation. So we have a 3 o'clock reservation for 3:30 and we're supposed to be out there at 3.
It's 2:59. We're 3 minutes away.
Okay. The door's locked. Alright. Here we are. And it is raining.
Well, we're waiting here in line here at the mine, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get down in there and see what's going to happen and see what's going on. Hope y'all enjoy coming along with us.
And we have to go into the mine to get on the train, okay, because it's raining now, okay? And so when we get outside, we're going to get on the man car, okay? That's all the original equipment from the mines here. But we have a lot of ladies here today, so we're going to call them lady cars also, okay? So we get outside, get into the mine, okay, you guys will follow me, go all the way towards the front, and then get on the train, get on as quick as you can, okay? You guys ready? Yeah.
We are sitting on the train. I don't think you can see it right now because it's really dark. But we're about ready to take the tram down into the ground here.
Squeeze in so you guys see what I'm talking about, okay? Is that everybody? Everybody in? Okay. Okay, see these 4 little chutes behind me? Okay, these 4 little chutes. These are transfer chutes. What this means is the miners up above, the levels up above, when they blasted their rock, the rock was taken out of their working area and brought over to these transfer chutes to be taken out at this level here. In 1881, what they did is they hired the 16, 17, 18-year-old men, and they're hired to be trammers. Trammers get a car like this car here and that car back here are 2 of the original cars here. Okay, each car holds 3/4 of a ton. You get a car like this, park underneath that chute there, open up that door, fill this car full of rock, and once it was full of rock, they shut that door again. Then they had to get this car and push it all the way down to where that Queen Mine shaft is at. Down there where we came around that curve right there, where that new timber is, down in that shaft there, about 100 feet down, there's a large ore car down there. Okay. The rock was transferred over to that large ore cart and they hoisted it to the surface with a steam hoist. That's how they used to get the rock out. Very slow process back then. Okay, trammers were making 34 cents an hour, working 10 hours a day down there. Okay? And then around 1906, they brought in the mules. The mules could pull 4 of these cars out at one time. The miners load up the 4 cars. The mules take the train down to the Queen Mine shaft down there. They unload the cars there. The mules bring back the empty. Continue doing that all shift long. The mules were kept down here the whole time. They never left the mine until they started to lose their eyesight. And it took about 4 or 5 years for that to start happening. And once the miners noticed that their eyes were getting bad, what they did is they put hoods over their heads, over the mules' heads, took them back out to the surface, and slowly introduced them to daylight again. Okay? And once they got their eyesight back, they were adopting the local ranches here. They didn't come back underground again. Okay? Then in 1927, that's when a little motor, that pulled our train in, it's called the Mancha motor. It was brought in 1927, but then the car's a little bit bigger than this. We had 1-ton cars, and with that Mancha motor, you could pull out a dozen cars out at one time. So now you're starting to get more production out. More rock is leaving the mine now, okay? So the miners were told not to be messing around with the boss's bike or else you get a warning slip, okay? I have a stack of warning slips. But anyway, I was going to go blast, okay, so I come down on my working area, out of my stove, and I come out of my stove, and I had to go get my dynamite, and so where I had to go get the dynamite is always a long distance from the working area. And so the bike is there, nobody else is around, so hop on it, go get your dynamite. Then if you happen to see somebody coming up the tunnel looking for his bike, you know it's him, so you just get off, leave it there, and keep on walking. Did you guys pay attention to that one pipe coming in your right-hand side? That 2-inch pipe? In the early days, it had compressed air in there. Compressed air is how the machines run, okay? And these 2 machines right here closest to me, both these machines come in the 1920s. This is the very first one to come in, this one right here. And what you do is you hook up your arrows to it. You start drilling with this machine here, and this type of rock here. This is limestone and silica, okay? And so if we started drilling with this machine right here, it could fill up this whole section in here with real fine white dust. In early days, some of the miners got silicosis. Okay, so they had a nickname for this machine back then. In 1920, they call it the Widowmaker, this machine they're talking about. Okay. Then about 4 years later, this machine came out. Okay. They look alike, but the big difference is now you have water running through the system. So once you start drilling with this machine right here, the water runs through the machine, runs through the steel, and out the end of the bit. Okay. And so now it cut all the dust down, so it made it a lot safer for the miners. Both these machines right here use this type of bit. It's a Timken steel bit, this bit right here. And this type of rock right here, okay, this type of rock is real hard. So every hole you drill, you can be changing this bit out 3 to 4 times per hole, okay? So they bring trays like that down in the ground there. See that tray down there? They bring trays like that full of these bits, because they're constantly having to change these out, okay? And if we want to put what we call a square set in the mountain right here, okay, we have to make a hole in there, an 8 by 8 by 10 in there, okay? We have to make a large hole in there. Take 25 holes, 7 foot deep, okay, in order to make room for that square set, okay? And with this machine right here, it took them close to 9 hours. They just had enough time to tear it down, put the equipment off to the side, and blast going home, okay? That's when they were working 10-hour shifts still, okay? And now the machine I was using is this one right here, and this is called the jack leg, okay? This jack leg weighs 125 pounds, and it was brought into the mines here around 1956. The full name for it, Gardner Denver jack leg. Okay? You hook up your water hose there, that's your air hose. This right here controls the rotation of that steel. So once you have this going full speed, this steel is rotating about 800, 850 RPMs, turning pretty fast. In the leg right here, you have 130 pounds of air pressure inside there, okay? And so on the handle here, that's how you control that air pressure. So you have that going full speed, put pressure on that leg, and that's what drives the steel into the rock. We have to have 25 holes, 7 foot deep, okay? This is a 7 foot steel. That's how deep each hole has to be. And this is the type of bit we use, this one right here. This is a carbide bit. Okay, how many holes we have to drill? 25. All of the 25 holes we drilled, we're going to load up 21 with dynamite. We leave 4 holes empty. Okay, got that? Okay, look right in the middle here. This is the pattern we use. Okay, this is the pattern we used here. And what you're going to do, load up the center hole here. Okay, these are the 4 you leave empty. Then you load up all the rest of them. And the reason you're doing that is when you start to blast, this is the very first one that goes off. When it goes off, it breaks it in 4 holes there. Okay, it breaks it in 4 holes. Now you have a hole or a cavity about that big, 7.5 foot deep. Okay, you need an opening back inside there to blast into. And so now these start going off. Then 4 there, they're called reliever holes. They start going off. There's about a second in between each blast. And so they start going off one at a time. And by the time them 4 go off, now you're going to have a very large hole like that, 7.5 foot deep. Okay, then you blast your sides, your top, and your bottom ones, the last ones. Okay? Okay, we have everything's loaded now with dynamite. Okay, our next step is to get okay, get this little board here. This is just to hold your fuses, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to get the center one in the middle here. Okay, that's the first one that has to go off. The fuses are 12 foot long, and they burn a foot every 40 seconds, okay? So you can cut about 18 inches off that just to get started and put it on this board, okay? And then you get one of your reliever holes. Now you're going to cut this one a half-inch longer than that very first one, okay? Then you get your next one, half-inch longer than the last one you cut, see? And then you get your other one, half-inch longer than the last one you cut. See what I'm doing yet? Continue doing that until you have all 21 fuses on here. Each one's half-inch longer. And so you're going to have about a second in between each blast, okay? And so now it's time to blast. That's a half hour before quitting time. And what you're going to do is light this. It's like a sparkler, okay? You light this with a match, okay? Then you start with that very first one, go your second, third, fourth, fifth, continue going until you light all 21 fuses. Once you light all 21 fuses, we just broke the little board, let all the fuses hang here, okay? What do we do next? got your malachite in the middle, that white ring around that, that's galena lead. That little rusty spot right below that, that's hematite. That's where they found the microchips of gold. Okay? And then up in here, see a little white streak there? Okay, that little white streak, that's a little silver streak. Okay? From 1881, when they opened up the mines here, from 1881 to 1975, they got over 8 billion pounds of copper out of this area. They got over 4 million ounces of gold out of here, over 100 million ounces of silver. Okay? We're always ranked in the top 10 of the richest producing mines throughout the country here.
So we're back on the train, about to head back out, it looks like.
Just got up out of the mines. It was awesome. Definitely should come and see Copper Queen Mine in Bisbee, Arizona.
Definitely should come and check it out. It's awesome.
Thank you for joining us today for our tour of the Queen Mine. We had a lot of fun. I had to drop Minerva off because, of course, she had to get ready for Minerva's tips and tricks. So we had a great time today. The tour guide was wonderful. He was
Awesome.
Very awesome. The people there were great. It's a special place. We showed you a lot in the video, but we did leave out some, so it's definitely worth coming and spending the $13. If you're in Bisbee, definitely take this tour. It was a lot of fun. So I think now is a good time to pass it over to Minerva, as I heard that she is now ready for Minerva's tips and tricks.
Hi, thank you for joining me today with tips and tricks with Minerva on the Copper Queen Mine. Tip number 1, definitely get there about 30 minutes early. That way you know that you're going to have your spot. It's usually a good thing to call and make your reservation a day ahead. That way you know you have a spot reserved. Tip number 2, dress warm. You always, because it is kind of cold down in the mine, and you want to stay warm. I wore a long sleeve while I wore this, what I'm wearing now, down in the mine, and it was a little chilly coming back up out of the mine. Tip number 3, take your camera, because it is, cameras are welcome. You can take lots of good footage down there. They tell a lot of history about the mine and show you some of the tools that they use down in the mine as well. Tip number 4, check out all the inside of the area where you check in at, because they do have cases where there's all the minerals and stuff they mined out of the open pit mine and the mine that you go down in, all in the cases, so you can see how they did the mining. Tip number 5, go into the gift shops, because they are open and really cool to look at. They have a lot of neat stuff in there. And that's tips and tricks with Minerva on the Copper Queen Mine.
Thank you, Minerva. That was awesome and very helpful as always. Next week, we are going to take you on a very special hike in Bisbee to a really neat trail that we heard about. We're both really looking forward to it.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And we're also going to take you to some other little special spots around Bisbee, like Lowell, and show you some old cars they have there. Lowell is where the Best Breakfast Club is located, where Minerva went for breakfast this morning. And we'll take you there and show you more of that. We'll show you some Warren and maybe some other places where we can fit in before we leave, because next week is our final week of our 3-week series on Bisbee. So although we're looking forward to the hike and doing a lot of other stuff, I'm not looking forward to it being our final episode. But that is next week at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, Sunday. So come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, everybody have a divine life. Thank you everybody again for watching our videos. We really appreciate it. We love making these videos. We plan on doing it forever. We would sure appreciate it if you would
Subscribe.
push the subscribe button and also hit the bell next to it, as that'll remind you that we are on every Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And also, if you like our video,
Hit the thumbs up.
hit the thumbs up, the like button. Again, thank you so much for watching our videos. And until we see you again, have a divine life.